to this in-depth exploration of Illinois, a state with a rich history that has contributed significantly to the development of the United States. From ancient Native American civilizations to its role in the Civil War, industrial growth, and modern political influence, Illinois has a diverse and dynamic past. In this video, we'll take you through 10 key chapters in Illinois' history, examining its pivotal moments and important figures that shaped the state into what it is today. Section 1. Pre-colonial Native American era. Before European settlers arrived, Illinois was home to many Native American tribes, notably the Illiniwek Confederation, from which the state gets its name. The region's history stretches back to ancient times, most notably the Mississippian culture, which thrived from around 600 to 1400 AD. This culture built one of the most significant pre-Columbian cities in North America, Cahokia, located near present-day St. Louis. At its peak, Cahokia housed tens of thousands of inhabitants and was the center of a sophisticated society that constructed large earthen mounds, some of which remain today as part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Cahokia was a major hub of commerce, politics, and religion, with long-distance trade routes that reached the Gulf of Mexico and the Great Lakes. However, by the 1400s, the city declined for reasons not fully understood. Still, its legacy lives on as evidence of the advanced civilization that once existed in Illinois, centuries before Europeans arrived. Section 2. French exploration and settlement, 1673 to 1763. The recorded European history of Illinois began with the arrival of French explorers Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet in 1673. As part of their mission to map the Mississippi River and spread Christianity, they explored the Illinois River Valley and built relationships with the local tribes. Their journey laid the groundwork for French settlements in the area. In 1699, the French founded Kaskaskia, the first permanent European settlement in Illinois. It became the center of French colonial life in the region, growing into an important trading post. The French engaged in fur trading, interacting with various Native American tribes. The Illinois country became part of the vast territory of New France, which stretched from Quebec to the Gulf of Mexico. Despite its strategic importance, the area remained lightly populated, with French settlers living alongside the native tribes. Section 3. British control and the Revolutionary War, 1763 to 1818. Following France's defeat in the Seven Years' War, known in North America as the French and Indian War, Illinois, along with the rest of New France, was ceded to Britain in 1763 under the Treaty of Paris. British control was short-lived, as the American Revolution soon brought a new wave of change to the region. In 1778, George Rogers Clark, leading American forces, captured the Illinois Territory from the British, securing it for the United States. Clark's campaign was crucial in weakening British influence in the Midwest during the Revolutionary War. After the Treaty of Paris, 1783, which ended the American Revolution, Illinois became part of the United States. Initially, it was included in the Northwest Territory, a vast region that would later be divided into several states. Despite its new American ownership, Illinois remained sparsely populated, with tensions between settlers and Native American tribes persisting into the early 19th century. In 1818, Illinois was officially admitted as the 21st state of the Union, with Kaskaskia as its first capital. Section 4. The era of expansion and development, 1818 to 1850. The early years of Illinois' statehood saw a significant increase in population and infrastructure development. As settlers from the eastern United States moved westward, new towns and communities began to emerge. The state capital moved to Vandalia in 1820, and later to Springfield in 1837, where it remains to this day. One of the most significant developments during this period was the construction of the Illinois and Michigan Canal, completed in 1848. The canal connected the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River, providing a vital water route for transporting goods. Alongside this, the growth of the railroad system further fueled Illinois' economy, transforming the state into a major hub for agriculture and trade. This period also saw the rise of Abraham Lincoln, who began his legal and political career in Illinois and would later become one of the nation's most revered figures. Section 5. Abraham Lincoln and the Civil War, 1850 to 1865. The mid-19th century is often synonymous with Abraham Lincoln, one of Illinois' most famous residents and the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln moved to Illinois in 1830 and worked as a lawyer before entering politics. In 1858, his series of debates with Stephen A. Douglas, known as the Lincoln-Douglas debates, catapulted him into the national spotlight. These debates centered on the issue of slavery, which was dividing the nation. Lincoln's election as president in 1860 directly led to the outbreak of the American Civil War. Although Illinois was a Union state, there were internal divisions between Northern and Southern sympathies, with many Southern Illinois residents opposing Lincoln's policies. During the Civil War, Illinois played a key role, contributing more than 250,000 soldiers to the Union Army. Lincoln's leadership during the war, his Emancipation Proclamation, and his efforts to reunify the country after the war remain defining moments in both Illinois and U.S. history. After his assassination in 1865, Lincoln was buried in his hometown of Springfield. Section 6. The Industrial Boom and Rebuilding Chicago, 1865 to 1900. In the post-Civil War period, Illinois rapidly transitioned into an industrial powerhouse. Chicago, which had been incorporated in 1837, emerged as a national center for manufacturing, shipping, and railroads. The Great Chicago Fire of 1871, though devastating, allowed the city to be rebuilt with modern architecture, including some of the world's first skyscrapers. The late 19th century saw Illinois' economy thrive due to its location as a transportation hub and its rich agricultural output. The state became a magnet for immigrants from Europe and other parts of the U.S., who came seeking work in the booming factories, stockyards, and railroads. This period also witnessed a rise in labor unrest, as workers sought better wages and conditions, setting the stage for future labor movements. Section 7. The Labor Movement and Progressive Era, 1900 to 1929. At the dawn of the 20th century, Illinois, particularly Chicago, became a focal point for the burgeoning labor movement. The Haymarket Affair of 1886 was one of the most significant events in labor history, with workers demanding an 8-hour workday. This protest, and the subsequent bombing that occurred, led to widespread public debate about workers' rights, police authority, and social reform. During this period, Jane Addams founded Hull House in Chicago, providing social services to immigrants and the poor, while also advocating for political reforms and workers' rights. Illinois was at the forefront of the Progressive Era, a movement aimed at addressing issues like poverty, corruption, and inequality. The state's factories and industries continued to attract immigrants, and the population of Chicago soared, making it one of the largest cities in the world. Section 8. The Great Depression and World War II, 1929 to 1945. The economic collapse of the Great Depression had a profound impact on Illinois, particularly in Chicago, where industries shut down and unemployment skyrocketed. However, the state began to recover through New Deal programs, which provided jobs and revitalized infrastructure. By the time the United States entered World War II, Illinois was poised for a resurgence. During the war, Illinois' factories played a critical role in producing military equipment and supplies. Chicago became a key site for the war effort, with factories turning out planes, tanks, and other wartime materials. Additionally, the Manhattan Project, the secret U.S. initiative to develop atomic weapons, had vital research conducted at the University of Chicago, where the first controlled nuclear reaction occurred in 1942. Section 9. Post-war prosperity and civil rights, 1945 to 1970. After World War II, Illinois experienced an economic boom, much like the rest of the country. The post-war period saw rapid suburbanization, particularly around Chicago, as returning soldiers and their families moved into newly developed neighborhoods. During this time, Illinois also became a central player in the growing civil rights movement. Chicago was home to figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who led campaigns for fair housing, and Fred Hampton, a leader of the Black Panther Party who was tragically killed in a 1969 raid. The 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago brought national attention to the city as protests erupted over the Vietnam War. The violent clashes between protesters and police underscored the deep divisions within American society at the time, but they also highlighted Chicago's role in the broader social and political upheavals of the 1960s. Section 10. Illinois in the Modern Era, 1970-present. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, Illinois continued to grow as a cultural and economic leader. Chicago, in particular, evolved into a global city, known for its finance, technology, and education sectors. Politically, Illinois has produced influential leaders like Barack Obama, who began his political career in the Illinois State Senate before becoming the first African-American president of the United States in 2008. While Illinois remains an economic powerhouse, it faces modern challenges, including political gridlock, economic inequality, and a state debt crisis. However, the state's vibrant cultural scene, strong agricultural sector, and global city of Chicago continue to make it a vital part of the American landscape. Conclusion: Illinois' history is a tapestry of cultures, industries, and political movements that have left an enduring impact on the United States. From the ancient civilization of Cahokia to the rise of industrial Chicago, the leadership of Abraham Lincoln, and its role in modern politics, Illinois has been at the center of many of the country's most significant historical moments.